Welcome to this channel. In this tutorial, you will get learn how to build an e-commerce web application with Angular CLI by following its official documentation. If you are new to this channel, subscribe this channel to get more tutorials. Let's get started by creating an Angular application. Open a new terminal or command prompt. Okay, now use this command to create an Angular application. Ng new, and then enter the application name Ecommerce hyphen strict. Hit enter. Would you like to add Angular routing? Type Y for yes. Okay, now select the style sheet format. Would you like to use? I'm going to select CSS. It may take a while for installing packages using npm for newly created Angular application. Now navigate to newly created application by cd and open this application with any text editor. My case, Visual Studio Code is preferred. Okay, we build Angular application with components. Components define area of responsibility in the user interface that let us reuse of user interface functionality. A component consists of three things. First, a component class that handles data and functionality, and second, an HTML template determines the user interface, and third, the component specific styles that define the look and feel. Here see inside source. Here app.component is the component class, and app.component.html is component template, and app.component.css is component specific styles. Okay, let's create 4 components. Open terminal, or command prompt, and then type this command to create 4 components. And G for generate and C for component, and then enter the component name. Top bar. It may take a while for generating a new component with this command, and then create another component, product list, and product details. Okay, here top bar components will display store name and checkout button, and product list will display product list, and product details component will display the details of a specific product. Okay, there is a root component in every Angular application that is the first component to load and container for the other components. In this application, app.component.ts is the root component, in this application. Okay, now open app.component.html file and now remove all the HTML content except router outlet tag. Okay, now I am going to update the application to display a list of products. We will use predefined product data from the product file. I am going to create a new file, products.ts, on app root directory. Products.ts. Okay, now define product interface in products.ts file. Now add some properties for the product. Now save this file and also add some products data in products array. So I'm going to define an array and name it products. Okay, now save this file. Now open product list.component.html file from here. Okay, and add an ng for structural directive on a div. So copy this code here. Okay, now open product list.component.ts file and here define a variable and name it products. Now import products array from products.ts file in list component. Okay, import products from products. Okay, now update this line. Okay, now save this file. Inside div tag add an heading tag and interpolate data by these statements. Inside div tag. Okay, now save this file and I am going to start Angular server with this command ng serve. It may take a while for generating browser application bundles. Compiled successfully. Okay, now browse this URL, localhost. I'm going to add a product list selector to the root template. Okay, now save this file and see the output. Okay, now set the title to be the product's name by using the property binding. Syntax as follows. Okay, now copy this, save this file Now see product list with property value. Okay, add the product's description. Copy this to here. Okay, now the application displays the name and description of each product in the list. Here product description will not be displayed if product description property is empty, because we have used ngIf statement here. Okay, and see. Okay, now add a button so that users can buy a product. We can add the button here. Type will be button. Enter the button name. Add to cart. Okay, now bind the button's click event to the add to cart method in product list component.ts file. Okay, let's add top bar in root component.html. Expand top bar and then open top bar component and copy this selector and paste here. Okay, top bar works. Now I am going to implement top bar. At first add bootstrap, copy and open index.html and paste here. Okay, and also copy this and paste here. Okay, save this file. Now cut this portion of HTML code and paste here. Okay, and open top bar component.css. Set the text color. Now add the another code here. At first add anchor tag and here add style, add padding 10 pixel. Okay, Now I am going to add font icon CDN link in index.html file. Now copy this CDN link and paste here. Now reload and see the shopping cart icon here. Okay. Let's add navigation to the application. At first, open approuting.module.ts. Okay, and here add routes. At first, add the root route here. Component name is product list component. Okay. Now open app component.html file. Remove the app product list from here. Okay. Now add a route for product details. Copy and paste here. Import product details component. Okay. Now copy this code and paste here. Product details dot component dot html. Okay. So we need add products array here. Now open product list dot component dot html and modify the product name anchor to include a route or link with the product ID as a parameter. Okay. Verify that the router works as intended by clicking the product name. The application should display the product details component, which currently says product details works. Click here and see product details works. Okay. Now view product details. Open product details.component.ts and import activated route from Angular router and the products array from products. Okay. Copy this to product details.component.ts file. Okay. And now define the product property. Now inject activated route into the constructor by adding private route activated route as an argument within the constructor's parenthesis. Okay. Copy to constructor. Okay. Now save this file. In the ngOnInit method, extract the product ID from the route parameters and find the corresponding product in the products array. So copy all of these lines and paste here. Okay. Here the route parameters correspond to the path variables you define in the route. To access the route parameters, we use route.snapshot, which is the activated route snapshot that contains information about the active route at that particular moment in time. Now update the product details component template to display product details with an ng if a product exists, the div renders with a name and description Okay, save this file, click on this link and see the details of the product. Okay, let's add a back button on product details page. Click on back to list. Okay, let's add an add to cart button on product details component template. Okay, if we click on this button, product will be added to cart add for checkout. Let's implement the add to cart method. Open product details.components.ts file and here define a method add to cart, and here pass a parameter product of type product. Okay, let's verify that add to cart button is working properly by adding this line here. Okay, now click on add to cart and see the product description on console. Okay, now I'm going to managing the data. At first create the shopping cart service. Copy this command. The cart service has been generated. Now open cart.service.ts file. Okay. Now import product interface from products.ts into the cart service.ts file, and in the cart service class define an items property to store the array of the current products in the cart. Okay, import into cart service. Okay, now define a variable, name it items of type product. Okay, now define method to add items to the cart, return cart items and clear the cart items. Copy all of these three methods. To cart service. Okay, now save this file and also define another method here and name it item count. Okay, and this method will return the length of the array. Return this dot items dot length. Okay, now save this file. Okay, the add to cart method appends a product to an array of items, and the get items method collects the items users add to the cart and returns each item with its associated quantity. And clear cart method returns an empty array of items which empties the cart. Okay, use the cart service. At first, open product details component, import cart service, services, and cart service. Okay, now inject cart service into constructor. Okay, now define the add to cart method which adds the current product to the cart. Copy this to here, update this product details dot component. Okay, now save this file. Now open web browser. Okay, now click on add to cart and you will see a message, your product has been added to the cart. Okay, the add to cart method does the following: takes the current product as an argument and then uses the cart service add to cart method to add the product to the cart and then display a message that you have added product to the cart. Okay, now add a button with the label buy and bind the click event to the add to cart method already implemented. Okay, now change add to cart with buy. Okay, now verify that the new buy button appears as expected by reloading. That's it. Okay, let's show the selected item count on checkout on the top bar. At first, open topbar.component.ts file. Now define item count method here and implement the method. we need to inject cart service here. Okay, now call the items count method. Okay, now bind item count to topbar.html template file. Okay, open topbar.component.html file, and here put this code to bind item count. Okay, save this file and reload. Now go back to product list and then view the product details and click on buy to add the product to the cart, and see on the checkout. Okay, that's it. Let's create the cart view. For customers to see their cart, we can create the cart view in 2 steps. Create cart component and configure routing to the create a cart component and configure routing to the new component and display the cart items. At first, set up the cart component. We need to generate cart component with this command. Okay, now follow this documentation. Notice that the newly created cart component is added to the modules declarations in app.module.ts file. Okay, cart component. Okay, now add this route on app routing module. Import cart component. Okay, now save this file and then update the checkout button so that it routes to the cart URL. So add this to the top bar. Okay, put here. Okay, now reload and click on checkout and see cart works. Okay, now display the cart items. At first, open cart.component.ts file and import cart service from the cart service.ts file. Okay, open cart component and import okay, now save this file and also inject the cart service so that the cart component can use it by adding it to the constructor. and also define the items property to store the products in the cart. Okay, now update the cart template with a header and use a div tag with an ng4 to display each of the cart items with its name and price. The resulting cart component template is as follows. Copy this to cart component .html file. Okay, now verify that our cart works as expected. Click on my store. Now click on the product and then click on buy. Now click on checkout. That's it. Okay, now I am going to define the checkout form model. Okay, open cart.component.ts file and import form builder service from the Angular Forms package. At first open app.module and here import the forms module. Import reactive forms module and forms module, and also add this to module on imports array. Okay, now save this file and also import form builders from Angular Forms on cart component and inject the form builder service in the cart component constructor. Okay, to gather the user's name and address, use the form builder group method to set the checkout form property to a form model containing name and address fields. Okay, copy to here. Okay, now define an onSubmit method to process the form. This method allows users to submit their name and address. In addition, this method uses the clearCart method of the cart service to reset the form and clear the cart. The entire cart component class is as follows. Okay, now save this file and create the checkout form. At the bottom of cart.component.html, add an HTML form elements and a parses button. On the form tag, use an ng-submit event binding to listen for the form submission and call the onSubmit method with the checkout form value. Okay, now add input fields for name and address, each with a form control name attribute that binds to the checkout form. Form controls for name and address to their input fields. Okay, now save this file. After putting a few items in the cart, users can review their items, enter their name and address, and submit their purchase. Okay, enter name and address. That's it. Okay, if you get help from this tutorial, share it for your friends and like, comment on this tutorial and subscribe this channel. And thank you so much for watching this video.